Again, it is in the precious name of Christ that we greet you on this day of worship. It's the Lord's day of worship, and we thank God for the privilege that we have again of coming into your home by Facebook and YouTube. So we thank God for you. We want to preach a message on this morning that I feel that we all need to be encouraged, and so I want to preach a message that tends to encourage us. 126th division of the Psalm, 6 verses, and it begins by talking about when the Lord restored the fortune of Zion. We were like them who dream. Then our mouth will fill with laughter, and our tongue with shouts of joy. Then they said among the heathen, the Lord has done great things for them. The Lord has done great things for us. We are glad. Restore our fortune, O Lord, like streams in the Negev. Those who sow in tears shall reap will reap with shouts of joy. He who goeth out weeping, bearing the seeds for sowing, shall come home with shouts of joy, bringing his sheaves with him. One of the things that I've noticed, even in my own experience under these conditions, is that how difficult it is to maintain some measured sense of real joy. And so I want to preach this morning about a dynamic song for a critical season. A dynamic song for a critical season. When you hear people singing, that singing often tells the story of their heart. Sad people don't sing joyful songs. They usually sing songs that are complementary with their state of being. Not us, people who are happy and full of joy. And I'm not talking about spiritual joy within itself. I'm talking about just joy of life, the natural joy, the joy you get from your family, your children, the joy you get from accomplishment, achievements in life, those kinds of things. And they usually don't sing sad songs. They sing upbeat and uplifting and encouraging songs. And here, in a time of downturn, in every way in which we can think of it, I'm wondering this morning about what song are you singing, and if you are singing a song at all. A dynamic here in this portion of Scripture, 126, the vision of Psalms. This psalm is a ascent song. It is an ascension song. A song of ascent is a song that the times that was required in the year for the pilgrims to go up to Jerusalem. They would sing this song, and then when they would go up the steps of the temple after temple rather, was built. They had steps. They would sing these songs. So this is a song of going up. And for those of us who may not know, from whatever direction that you came from in Israel, you was always going up. It's spoken of in that time, and that's because it was the temple, Jerusalem area, was known as the habitation of God. So it was determined that you was going up. And here in this song of ascent, of going up, we cannot stop. We must continue to go up. And even though church at this time, when I say church, I'm not talking about this church in particular, the church, because of social distancing and other things that we want to be very careful in our meeting. So we aren't meeting on a regular basis, but that does not mean that in our hearts and our mind that we aren't to have a song and that we have ceased from going up. Christian critical times never void out the believer's duty. Never voids out. Critical times never void out the duty of the believer. How you know that? Look at, in this pericope, look at verse 5 and 6. 5 and 6. 5 tell us what is to be doing. We are to sow in tears and reap in joy. That's what 5 say. And 6 tell us how to do it, how to go forth and how to come in. So that's duty, how to do and what is to be done and how to do it. We aren't left without a call to duty in the time in which we are in right now. And yet life as a believer can and often come to the point of having our joy stripped from us. And that is my concern, is that we don't want the joy of our salvation to be stripped from us. We don't want the joy of our duty to be stripped from us. We want to do what we've been called to do with a lot of joy. and so we don't want to come to that point of having it stripped. We don't want our merit removed. We don't want that, We don't want the merit to move. That's, you give a party, and there's somebody always know how to kick a party off. They know how. There's some people just know, they call them, I think, party animals. Party animals. They know what to do. They know how to bring it at a party. Everybody don't know how to do that. But here, we don't want the joy, and a party ain't no good unless it's filled with gala and joy, whatever. Nobody want a party just sitting around and talk and look at each other and talk about, things that don't really make no sense. So we have to have joy. We want to press that home, is that now in coronavirus, in this rage that we've been in since the first of the year, we want to make sure that our joy isn't stripped from us. We don't want to be like the crowd that was in Babylon, and it was required of them, Psalms 137, and you all are here and you all are singing people. You all are people of great festive joy, and that sing us one of the songs of Zion. You remember that. And they hung their harps on a willow tree and say, you mean to tell us that you have us in bondage, in captivity, and now you want us to sing you one of Zion's songs. Beloved, I just want you to know that it can happen. How can we sing in this strange land? How can we sing in this strange time? Huh? In this strange time. Somebody, I'm talking to that person who's in the bed with the cover over their heads and asking the question, you want me to rejoice in the Lord? You want me to have joy? Yes, you can. But if God has done it, you can do it. If God has put a song in your heart, you can abound with joy. The song of this song, of this psalm, which is a song of ascent, bless us greatly in our struggle to maintain joyful composure. What do you mean? I mean there's 169,000 people who have transitioned since January in America. I mean there are 5 million. There are 5 million plus across the world. And you talking about singing? You mean to tell me joy? I received personal news about my family in Fort Worth, my niece and nephew and great nephew who had contacted COVID. And so, and many of the people, you that may be listening to me, have recovered. And I don't know where you are, but the point that I'm making is that we are dealing with, what we are dealing with isn't anywhere near as dynamic in its thrust than what God has done for us. I need somebody this morning. And so, with all of this, we must maintain calamity and culture must never be allowed to drain the joy of our being. Our being. Joy of being saved from our lives. I'm saved. Can you say that? Can you say that with all assurance? I'm saved. And not only that can you say it with all, but this text teaches us the right way and the only way to be saved. It teaches us all of the many of the major doctrines of our salvation, justification, made right with God, made right by God. It teaches us that. Our strength is our joy. Our joy, rather, is our strength, and our strength is our joy. You have, if you have the joy of Jesus, you have strength. And so we don't want to be without strength. And joy is a cerebral, in the mind. It's a cerebral reminder and awareness of where all of our help come from. It's a cerebral. People ask you, what are you so happy about? You're thinking of where the Lord has brought you from. You're thinking of what he has done for you and what he is doing for you. Doing for you. Now, that doesn't mean that everything is all right and everything is all well. No. I'm thinking about, I would have been gone a long time ago had not God done for me what he has done. My money would have been depleted. My health would have been depleted. And even though my health is not as good as I would like for it to be, but it's a whole lot better than I could make it myself. So, in this text before us, there's about 4 or 5 things I want to point out quickly, and I'll let you go. Number one, in verse number 1, you see the dynamics of divine power. When he's talking about fortune, he's talking about themselves. In some other translation, it says that when the Lord turns, don't use fortune. It uses us, we, us. When the Lord turned. In other words, when the Lord delivered us. That's what he's speaking of. These are a delivered people. They're not delivered by some modern strategy. They're not, not delivered by some philosophy, a hypothesis that they made up. It says, when the Lord turned, when God, oh my God, when God deliver you, you are delivered. He turned, well, let me read it. It says, when the Lord turned, verse 1, when the Lord, I got a new Bible here, and it'll take me a minute to get to it. When the Lord restored the fortune of Zion, we were like those who dreamed. God, this was a people who at one time was in captivity. Now they're no longer in captivity. Well, Israel stayed in all kinds of trouble all of the time, like us, like all people, like all human beings. But the Lord, because God have loved us with an everlasting love, you see. He have loved these are people, his nation, the Israelite nation. But God have loved us, his body, the body of Christ, with an everlasting Lord. He is the one who saves his body. He's the one who saved the individual. We cannot save ourselves. Here's the issue that's at hand. You will not get very far in this COVID-19 period if you haven't been saved by the grace of God. You need to be saved by the grace of God. People who can shout in difficult and critical times are people